This session's being recorded, hence we're using the microphone. Otherwise, I know the room's small enough where we wouldn't have to. I'm Brenda Kessler. I work with the Children in Nature Network. I see some familiar faces from the free tour that we did on Monday. This project has been dear to my heart for the last 18 months, almost 2 years now. When Jamie first reached out and we talked about how we were going to accomplish these deliverables, the idea, Robert Wood Johnson was really interested in scalable strategies. We knew there was work, it wasn't just happening in the US, it was happening all over. There's a great organization, ISGA, which we have some members here that we knew there was work happening in parts of Europe, and there's the whole committee and members of that. But where was the rest of the world? What was happening in South America? What was happening in Asia, Africa? So we decided to open up a survey. It started in November 2021, right when the project started, and try to capture. We really just put out a survey through our newsletters, through our social media, with our partners that Cheryl just mentioned, and try to capture who is doing greening school grounds and outdoor learning at any capacity, whether they're using parks nearby, whether they're actually lifting up the asphalt, whether they are working in one school or many schools. So just, we had 16 questions, initial questions to kick us off, and we received around almost 300 responses. And with this, we created it was parallel. We were going to create video case studies, and we were also going to bring a cohort together, which was Cheryl was talking about, for the 18 months virtual meetings where we would talk about many of the topics that are dear to our heart here in the U.S. in our Green Schoolyards effort. Why greening? These were some of the topics and the timeline of what we approached. This group of about 60 people came, had a virtual meeting each month and talked about these different topics. Why greening school grounds, existing solutions and innovations. What are some of the global barriers? Geographical and climate considerations. What does the research say? What are some of the gaps? There's plenty of research already talking about the benefits of green schoolyards, but is it being used? Is it being put into practice? And then, what partners are missing? How can we lift this work? How can we advocate in larger organizations that are writing these big policies and statements, and then coming together in November to create the global agenda that Cheryl talked about. So for the video case studies, we, as I said, we had a survey, we had about 300 responses, but Robert Wood Johnson was, and we were all interested in scalable strategies, models that we could adapt to other parts of the world, models that we could adapt in the U.S. So taking the responses of those that were in the U.S., so we didn't want to focus in the U.S., we really wanted to focus outside of the U.S., and taking out those that were working in early childhood, because we really concentrated this project in K through 12, and then taking out those that were only working in one school, because we were really focused on scalable strategies. We ended up just narrowing it down, and with the help of Lois and some of her, Lois Brink over there, who's been an amazing partner in creating this rubric with the help of her students, master students, helped us create a rubric and narrow it down so that we could eventually select 13 case studies for our video case studies. We created a framework. We know there's a lot of benefits to greening school grounds. So play, health and well-being, climate resilience and biodiversity, community engagement and education. No matter where you start, what your priority is, all of these benefits follow. So if climate is, you're getting funding to green school grounds because climate and biodiversity is your main priority, that doesn't mean the other the other four benefits are not there, right? They all follow. But many of the case studies we'll hear from, they started or they stemmed with one of these priorities. So we framed this this project with, we selected 2 organizations for each, so 2 for play, 2 for health and well-being, and so on, and then 3 other case studies that were just all around, and you'll hear from them soon. This is just an example from Paris, the Oasis Schoolyard project, which you might have heard of. They've transformed already 100 schoolyards, and their strategy is really embedded in the city's climate resilience vision. Or it was through the city. They have a huge problem with urban heat island, and they turn to school grounds. We'll see a video in a little bit on how schools are really just at the heart of communities. So when we think about adding park space in urban spaces, there's not a lot of, when you're trying to add green space in very dense and urban areas, there's not a lot of places where you can expand. But schools are just a common sense strategy because everybody lives near a school, right? So in Paris, it has worked wonderfully. These are other images from case studies that we'll be hearing. Just a map of where the 13 case studies that were selected. We really wanted to make sure that we were speaking to different biomes, different geographies, not just your temperate forest, but knowing that in Morocco, it's not green school grounds. It might look very different than they look in Europe or in the US. And just some more additional pictures of the case studies. Green Cameroon, that's the name of the organization in Cameroon. And so this is the group that came together for the 18 months in the virtual sessions, culminating with a wonderful one-week meeting in Salzburg, where we developed a simple vision, but very powerful. We envision a world where every child, especially the most vulnerable, connects meaningfully with nature every day. And that is what the global agenda is based on. We collectively drafted this document with 24 concrete actions of what we think needs to happen so that this doesn't only happen in some parts of the world, but actually all over the world. And like Cheryl said, this is the new partners moving forward. And with that, I want to play a short video before I hand it over to our first panelist.
Every child should have like a little garden, a little place where they could be loved by Mother Earth and they could love Mother Earth.
We need to have a space that is mutual and also common, and that people can gather and have activities together, belong to everybody.
O importante é conectarmos a cultura e a natureza, integrando todos em favor das crianças do Brasil e do mundo.
They love interacting with other children, and we have seen a substantial change in their overall physical, mental, and social well-being.
Global warming. Hacer la de hogar me ha permitido ser parte de este gran cambio para cuidar el medio ambiente y el planeta.
And with that, I want to turn it over to Joaquin Leguia, Executive Director of ANIA, Asociación para la Niñez, Ambiente.
Thank you for all being here. Can you give me that?
Yes, I'm going
to. Okay, thank you for all you being here again, and I would love to, once Brenda put the slide there, and says inclusion of mothers as a teacher, just by putting that there, I would love to, just in like 30 seconds, what is the feeling you have? Is it possible? Should we have done that before? Why haven't we thought about it? Think about it. Like, what do you feel? First feeling that comes through. Nothing? Is it weird?
No.
Seems natural.
Seems natural. Why do we haven't done it? Isn't that weird? Okay, 2030. That's the science says that that's the time you have to shift a little the wheel so we don't fall into that vision. And today it feels that all the things we've been doing, we are stagnant, or we are even rewinding. I know how you say it, going backwards. Rewinding. And that's a feeling of frustration and that we have to do something else. And I remember in COVID time, my biggest lesson was that the only thing we cannot do is the things that we always do, because then the results will be the same. So then I got the courage to do something I was thinking and feeling before that for a long time. And I said, well, we have to bring mothers as a teacher in every school, and according to the culture. And while all this, we're trying to do a lot of things, we all know that's why we are here. We know about nature deficit disorder, and that's kind of very invisible to many. And maybe you guys are more aware of this, but in our countries, in Latin America, it's something that is not even in the radar. No one even thinks about it, and they don't even understand it unless they know about it. And this is something that is happening, of course. And I always say, how do we come to that point in our world that we have lost our values for life? And I think personally that is in the moment, we derail in the moment that we start treating nature as an object, as a commodity. That's when we went the other way around. And when I translate things, I put in Google Translator, and when you put nature, it appears as an it, not a she or a they or something. And I was like, how is that happening? So I think that's when we start losing our empathy with life. And talking about that term, we go together with a lot of young people and we say, what is it that we're missing in humanity that we're losing or we're not strengthening? And we came up with that term that is empathy for life, which is, like it says there, the ability to feel, think, and do for oneself, others, and nature. And then we thought about a lot, that we work with different original people, and we came to that circle that is embeds empathy for life, which is doing things for oneself. What means oneself? It's the spirit that is transversal to everything. It's our emotions. It includes our body and our mind. Then others is those who we love, those who we see, and those who we do not see. And among those who we do not see are our ancestors. That although we don't see them, that doesn't mean that they don't exist, and they are there. And what we should be thinking when we do things, not dishonoring them. And among those we do not see are the unborn. And there's a study that says that in the next 50,000 years, there's 6.75 trillion of people coming into this world. And how their life is going to be depends on us, the 8 billion that are now here. But where is that in our equation? Where is that in our work? Where do we include them there? And that's all our part of our family. And then it's nature, which of course air, water, fungi, plants, animals, soil, minerals, and of course people that we are embedded into that. So that's empathy for life, knowing that it's about oneness and that you can thrive in life and make a better world by doing things that are good for you. You know that you're doing that when you do things that are good for you, for others, and for the natural world. And who better to teach us about that, of course, than nature herself? We are nature. Like you can see in the circle of empathy for life. So, like I always say, who better than life herself to teach us how to know her, know about her, love her, and to protect her. So we need her in that way. And this is just this is how things are today. We're looking all at our outer environment, and that's symbolized by a tree. And that's great, of course. You know, it sucks CO2 and it sequesters carbon and then it throws oxygen. But then the other half is missing. And if we make an analogy of the tree, we need the children. That's the outside work, and we need to do the inward environment, outward environment, inner environment. And we have to focus 50% or more of our work on this side. And of course, when they're exposed to vitamin N, they develop a good heart, what we call empathy for life, and then they give back to the world sustainable and healthy practices. But naturally, they do that. So that's where all our work, I think, is in that realm. So we created to do that in my organization, ANIA, that I founded 28 years ago, children's lands. That is a piece of land given to them that can be in their home, school, or community from 3 plant pots, or a bigger piece of land, where they do make a better world doing things with Mother as an ally for them, for others, and for nature. And that's how it looks on the right. Local flora, local fauna, a beautiful place where it represents a little piece of the planet that we give it to them from the early age, so they can improve themselves, they can make a better world in that place by keeping the 13 elements and doing all the kind of things that we have been seeing in this Congress or conference. And then that methodology we start applying in these schools, in the formal education system, and including Mother Earth as a teacher. She teaches all about resilience, perseverance, empathy, phototropism that is growing towards life, about photosynthesis, how we capture energy and we transform it in a way that it nurtures life. It's incredible, you know, we haven't put there Mother Earth yet as a teacher. And the way we do it, just you guys may be thinking, how do we put that down? And then it works like the principal signs an official document bringing Mother Earth as a teacher, officially, as a colleague for the other teachers. Then he stands up or she stands up in front of everyone and says why. Why? And the pitch is who better than life herself to teach us how to know her, love her, and protect her. And then she, with the image you choose according to your own culture, is put in a wall, and so kids can see that it's a she or a they, and she's there with among other staff of the teachers. And then she's introduced to the staff, and they do a dynamic with her, welcoming as a colleague, and then children do the same, welcoming her as her teacher. And then she has her classroom, which is this little piece of 5 more minutes, Brenda. She gives a little piece of place in the school. It's the green school yard, let's say. It's her classroom, but this place is built with the kids. They design and they go through the process and they give the place a name and they create a logotype and and they create a better world. And in that place, how it works is they put they are barefooted. They do grounding there. They take if they want, and they do all the kinds of things that I've told you. But that place becomes like a library. It's used like a library. You don't need the teacher to be there reading in their neck and telling them what to do all the time. On the contrary, it's a place where when they go to a library and they know what to do there, they pick up a book, they read, and then they put it back. Where this is a place where they go in a semi-structured way. They go in, and they will choose one of the 13 elements. They will do it on them. They will do that on that place, and then they will report to the teacher what they feel what they have done on any of the 13 elements. And in the time schedule of the week, there's 1 hour a week already embedded there where everything gets together. These places where everything makes sense. If they're learning the math, the English, the science, the art, why? To make a better world. And then this is a place where they put all that into practice. So I'll show you some places. This one in Puerto Lima and works like that. And then they make the vision, they make their logo, they put the name, and then they construct it with the whole community. And then that's a place with also only cement. And then they took it out. They were part of the process. And that's a little place, a little Mother Earth place for 250 children. And there it is. And it's now part in the cosmovision of them. It's part of them. And that place grows with them. And this is another one that was like that. And that's a favorite classroom. This is another one in the Andes. And that's how the world should look. And since a very young age, they know they can make it happen. Then that they carry that in their hearts, and then they will do it. And they know how. And this applies to schools too, to neighborhoods, to communities, natural protected areas, with local governments. They make a local resolution or something like that they incorporate children as agents of change, and then they measure how they are supporting the community. And these pieces of land are accounted as a quantitative measure of what they're doing in the schools and in homes. The methodology you have been institutionalized by the government of Peru, Ecuador, and Rapa Nui municipality. And a couple of months ago, the Ministry of Environment Peru, they make a declaration that they include mothers as a teacher. That's the Ministry of Environment, not Education. But that's a step forward. And it's in 11 countries now, and we're part of the Children and Nature Network, very proud of it. And for sustainability, we have created a model, and this is it, we did something, I'm done, by which we can offset, like it says there, apathy and environmental degradation with empathy and regeneration of life with new generations. How we do this is by compensating the carbon, by offsetting the carbon footprint of all screens, all media that we have at home that has screens. And that amount of money, that amounts maybe to $20 per year per family, it's hard to explain all it, but let's say you've said that, and 50% of that goes to a fund to maintain all these green areas. We're starting. We have moved forward with it, but now we want to make a big jump and get some of these guys included, and that could be huge. And that's our vision, that the educational institutions worldwide have Mother Nature or Gaia, or whatever you want to call her, as a teacher, and with her classroom helping new generations grow with empathy for life and a sense of purpose. Thank you.
I forgive you. Very quickly, this has been dear to my heart because this is the only, I would have loved to travel to all of them while we were building these case studies, but Peru was the only one that Jamie and I, and Laura, our External Relations Director, traveled to and saw it, and we got to see hear the voices of the parents and the kids. A beautiful thing is the ownership. Sometimes we tell the children what's going in their garden. They're really owning it, and they're watching it fail and succeed. It's part of the learning process, and we saw the kids, get upset because it wasn't growing the way they expected, but it was really beautiful to see that. We'll have time for questions at the end. I do want to welcome our second panelist, Vastí Marques. She is the Secretary of Education for municipality Jundiaí outside of Sao Paulo in Brazil. And she is joined by Adnan Fachini, who will be helping her translate. So I appreciate your grace and your patience as we welcome them with their presentation. Is it on? Yeah.
Me desculpem, eu não falo inglês, só falo português, mas trouxe a Dinan para falar por mim.
She asked us so sorry for language. She doesn't speak English, but I'm come here to help.
Mas eu espero que o meu rosto e a minha apresentação comuniquem o que nós viemos falar do Brasil para vocês.
She hopes that this her face and the all material that we bring bring Brazil essence. Okay.
Vamos lá? Nós trabalhamos com o programa Escola Inovadora na nossa cidade, em Jundiaí. Acho que só um minutinho. Estamos aqui no Brasil. 427 mil habitantes e a nossa rede municipal tem 40 mil alunos e 4 mil funcionários. 40 mil crianças de 4 meses a 10 anos de idade.
Jundiaí is near São Paulo. Is approximately 40 minutes from São Paulo. So here is in English, so it's easy to know. But we attend 4,000 students with 4 months to 10 years old children. It's okay.
Um terço da nossa cidade é protegida pela Mata Atlântica. Nós temos uma serra chamada Serra do Japi e nós temos o bioma de Mata Atlântica e de Cerrado.
We have 1/3 preserved Atlantic forest and cerrado in our city.
A nossa escola é uma escola que pensa nas crianças e é chamada hoje, Jundiaí, a cidade das crianças. Hoje nós somos reconhecidos como uma cidade que protege, cuida e pensa no futuro da cidade por meio das crianças.
The main goal is to make Jundiaí the city of children, because our major focus on childhood. 7 years ago, when Luis Fernando Machado, our mayor, took office as Jundiaí mayor, and since then we planned public equipment having our children in mind.
Então, assim, nós pensamos num programa com 3 eixos muito importantes: a ambiência das escolas, a formação dos educadores e a qualidade do ensino. Aqui eu mostro um pouquinho 8 direitos das crianças que foram concebidos na educação de Jundiaí, na cidade, pelo prefeito, que é, na verdade, a Convenção dos Direitos da Criança da ONU de 1996, e Jundiaí se apropria dela, junto com a Base Nacional Curricular do nosso país, e nós pensamos a ambiência a partir destes eixos.
These 8 pins is from ONU, to rights of children from ONU.
Também temos a formação dos nossos educadores. A formação dos nossos educadores é pensada justamente para que elas possam, na escola, conseguir fazer esta ambiência bem planejada, bem pensada, como nós assim queremos para as nossas crianças.
We need the outdoor activities to connect with the curriculum and they promote experience that fully develop children, their cognitive, physical, emotional, and social. And for the investment in ambience to have a positive impact, it is essential to work with staff training. So we work hard to training of education and another education school staffs, not only teachers, all staffs.
Como consequência, então, dessa ambiência bem pensada, dessa formação dos educadores, nós conseguimos a qualidade da educação. Hoje nós somos reconhecidos como cidade das crianças porque nós temos uma qualidade educacional de ponta, de excelência dentro do nosso país.
As a consequence, we've been having good learning outcomes, thinking about all materials and possibilities without forgetting the emotional health of children, in addition to the 5 benefits of a green school ground, children's play, health and well-being, climate resilience, and biodiversity, community engagement, and educational outcomes.
Para que isso tudo acontecesse, esses são alguns dos nossos projetos importantes, e o que está em amarelo são aqueles que se relacionam com o projeto que nós apresentamos, não é? Aqui, pensando nas possibilidades de trabalhar com as crianças na natureza e com a natureza. Então, nós temos hoje lá criação de abelhas sem ferrão nas escolas, nós temos plantas não convencionais, todas as nossas escolas têm alimentação a partir da horta orgânica, né? Programas de alimentação importantes, assim como pensar na natureza e com a natureza, com as crianças, em qualquer contexto educacional.
This is all our projects that support our program. In the yellow lines is the most important for connecting children to nature. So it's in English, it's easy to understand. If you have some question about one of them, you can ask us. Okay?
A partir desse trabalho que nós fizemos, e depois da pandemia, Isso não está, você vai ter que traduzir também. Nós criamos o desemparedamento da escola. A Brenda ficou treinando para falar desemparedamento da escola, né? Que é as nossas possibilidades de tirar as crianças da sala de aula e de que elas pudessem aprender fora dos espaços de sala de aula, de carteiras enfileiradas, lousa, a professora na frente da sala, enfim. Que elas pudessem ir para os espaços para fora da escola para aprender.
After pandemic moment, we think so hard about children inside of classrooms. With Brenda and our partnerships, we search people that think like us, that children out of class is better from them.
Hoje, nós temos uma metodologia de ensino chamada desemparedamento da escola, muito estimulada pelo nosso prefeito.
In this innovative school, we have a desemparedamento da escola. That means learning beyond the school walls. Okay? And the mayor, our mayor, is very power about this.
Nosso prefeito nos estimulou a pensar as escolas não isoladas dentro de um processo educacional, mas hoje nós trabalhamos em plataformas. Toda a administração pública trabalha em plataforma. E as intervenções urbanísticas são pensadas com a educação, especialmente. Temos também a secretaria, a unidade de gestão, por exemplo, de trânsito, que conversa com a educação para que nós possamos ter os ambientes para fora da sala de aula e o desemparedamento acontecendo.
We don't work alone. In our administration, we work with a lot of platforms, health, public work, and we work together. And our department do things that involves education, to empower our education in our city.
Esses são alguns dos nossos parceiros importantes dentro de Jundiaí, da cidade das crianças.
Is another partnership.
E aqui é o modelo de governança que nós temos na nossa cidade. Jundiaí de oportunidades, Jundiaí de saúde, Jundiaí sustentável, Jundiaí de oportunidades, Jundiaí responsável. Todos os gestores trabalham juntos neste organograma.
This is our model of work. Né? We work together with all departments of the City Hall.
E aqui são algumas das nossas publicações, uma junto com o Instituto Alana, Aprendizagens ao Ar Livre, quando a gente começou a pensar a escola para além da sala de aula.
This is our publication, it's our curriculum.
O plano municipal da primeira infância.
Yes, it's okay.
Das inovações do programa Escola Inovadora e do currículo cujo desemparedamento da escola.
How was said, this is desemparedamento da escola, learning beyond the school walls.
E aqui um pouquinho das imagens do nosso trabalho dentro das nossas unidades escolares. Hoje todas as escolas têm nos seus quintais as áreas que pensam brincando com água, com terra, com areia, com escalada. As nossas salas de aula começam a se modificar.
This is our peak that is show the work in Jundiaí. All schools have play with water, fire, climbing, peace without stingless bees. Yes, stingless bees.
Exato.
Organic vegetable garden.
Pensadas para crianças com deficiências, com problemas de mobilidade.
With accessible organic garden.
E a gente tem um videozinho para mostrar, para contar isso com mais vida do que a gente mesmo falando.
We have a little video to show you he's with more life.
Transformar o mundo num lugar melhor, mais justo e solidário é um desafio que passa pelo ambiente escolar, sobretudo nos primeiros anos de vida. A educação é central nesse processo, garantindo a formação integral dos estudantes em todas as dimensões do ser humano: intelectual, física, cultural, social e emocional. Aprendem com e na natureza. É exatamente isso que vem acontecendo em Jundiaí nos últimos anos, pois a administração municipal da cidade resolveu priorizar a educação pública e o protagonismo das crianças. Jundiaí vem se tornando uma referência na educação, com a adoção do programa Escola Inovadora, que tem como eixos a ambiência, a formação dos educadores e a qualidade do ensino. Um dos diferenciais é a metodologia do desemparedamento da escola, quando a criança é convidada a explorar e a investigar o mundo que está além das paredes das salas de aula, em espaços abertos e em meio à natureza. Os pilares fundamentais das políticas públicas voltadas para a infância são experiências sensoriais, brincadeiras, autonomia, direito à cultura, ao desenvolvimento e o cuidado com a educação emocional de cada aluno. Simbolizam essa mudança de paradigma em Jundiaí, motivo não só de orgulho, mas de reconhecimento local, regional e internacional. Além dos estudantes, os educadores vêm recebendo atenção especial, com formação continuada, estimulando o pensamento crítico, o repertório cultural, científico e criativo. Só em 2022 foram mais de 2.000 horas investidas em formação. E Jundiaí também sai na frente ao criar um espaço que guarda a memória da educação municipal e que pensa a infância como potência para o desenvolvimento da cidade. Esse é o Centro Internacional de Estudos, Memórias e Pesquisas da Infância, o CIEMP. Desde 2020, o espaço também abriga mostras culturais, exposições, apresentações, palestras e seminários. Deu para perceber que a educação em Jundiaí é levada a sério e feita diariamente com o esforço de centenas de pessoas que acreditam nesse ideal. É possível mudar o mundo pela educação, e Jundiaí vem provando que sim. Unidade de Gestão de Educação.
Estão todos convidados a conhecer a cidade de Jundiaí no Brasil. Muito obrigada.
She invites all to know Jundiaí.
Thank you, Vastí, and thank you, Adnan. If you see a little chocolate in your table, this is courtesy of Jundiaí, so feel free to take one, or ask. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I think it's a chocolate.
Yeah.
This is it's a chocolate, right? Okay. So, again, we'll have time for questions. It's a great example of what a city leadership coming together to activate the outdoor spaces. I know we talked a lot about the education, but also it was chosen as a case study because after COVID, it really catalyzed them to activate the outdoor spaces, the parks, and also the greening programs. I know we're running tight on time, so I want to make sure we hear from everyone. I want to welcome Ian Mostert from IBN in Rotterdam, Netherlands, who does an amazing job at Green Blue Schoolyards.
Yeah, thank you. I would like to begin with something different. I would like to ask you to close your eyes. We do this at every school where we start the participation. And I would like to ask you, you are about 5-6 years old again, your holiday will start, and imagine what you are doing, what you are feeling, what you are hearing, etc. Okay. I'm really interested. Who wants to share the experience? You?
About 6 years old, my experience will be at my grandparents' house, actually in the garden, assisting with planting and harvesting vegetables and making mud pies with my dad.
Nice. Another one.
I was also thinking when I was 6, monsoon comes in the desert every year. When I was little, I just put on my shorts, put on my shoes, and run outside and run through the water. Even though my mom would get mad, I would still jump in the puddles. And it was actually really nice to remember that. So thank you.
Really nice. Last one. Who dares? Yep.
Camping here in Colorado in the mountains. Lovely.
What were you doing?
Camping, hiking, fishing.
Really nice. I will tell you some more about the case study in the Netherlands, in Rotterdam. We started about 10 years ago, and when we look at the city, we saw a lot of children living in small houses, and sometimes with big families in a small house, sometimes with small families, really poor, so they also hired rooms for other people. So the children lived in a strange situation, and outdoors there was no space. Fences of the schools are closed and there's no nature, only traffic, and we were thinking, how can we solve this problem? Yeah, maybe a simple idea, open the fences and bring some nature in those places. And what I started with at each school is asking what you thought, what you were telling, playing with water, playing with some risk, playing with nature. No one said climbing in an artificial thing. And that's what many times happens. And when adults are watching at the play of children, they are thinking artificial things, and those things already tells you what to do. So there's no creativity or fantasy or construction play or whatever. Also the social skills and making games together, they're also not possible. And everything must be safe. Afraid for parents, afraid for claims. So we try to discuss it with the schools. Here you can see some examples. All those schoolyards we picked later. I cannot see those things. And when you look at places where there's a bit green, adults will tell you stay away with it and don't touch it. So we also look at the way children can play in and with nature and not looking at nature but don't do anything. It's also an integral concept. Most of the budgets are in the fiscal things, building schoolyards or building schools, or the climate budgets are pretty big. But when you add some social activities like education or programming for the neighborhood, you can develop much more beautiful. And the civil servants we work with, they like their work much more because of the sense it makes. In the beginning, no one liked our program. They told us you are crazy, we don't like it to open the fences, and there will be people who will ruinate it, or maybe it's dangerous, or we don't know how to handle with maintenance. Outdoor lessons, we don't know how do we organize outdoor lessons. But after about 2 years, many schools and also kindergartens and preschools, etc., were calling us, please can we participate? And I'm really happy we stayed with the whole concept. No compromises. And now we are doing this about 9 years. And after that, we also have some selection. One point is selection about how many children lives in the neighborhood and how many square meters do they have to play outside. We also look at the socio-economic status, at the health data, climate issues, water, heat. I think that was it. And the other 50%, the school can tell us how motivated they are. How are they organized? How will they organize the outdoor lessons? How will they organize the maintenance? And they must have a vision of the development of children. Here you can see some maps. You can use a lot of data. I think worldwide you can use GIS, pretty easy. So you can focus with your budgets and subsidies to select the right neighborhoods. And here you see the quantitative data selection. We tell the schools before this is what we are looking for. So tell us how you will organize this. And we select a short list. We go to the schools, we talk with the principal, with the teachers, sometimes with some parents. And we also look around what possibilities there are. And after that we come to selection, and each year 5, 6, and sometimes 10 schools can participate. And we are scaling it up now to province and other cities. And then when the school is selected, we start a process. And one of the most important things for us is the environment. The neighborhood must benefit the investment, and the gates must be open, and the children, parents, and neighborhood must be involved in the process. And we start about what is the reference you have. So many children, also many parents, don't have any connection with nature. Or when they are thinking about play, they think about artificial plastic things. And they've forgotten playing in nature is really healthy and nice for children. So we go to some nice places, and their reference will be different then. And they don't get dirty child back home. We also let the parents and teachers participate to develop their vision. So they can also tell the benefits and the values to the people who are opposite. And we would like to talk about, for example, playing with risks, the importance of playing with risk, so you can understand when you're playing risky, and when danger will start. When you don't play with risks, I think that's dangerous. And children must have loose parts, so they will make their own games, and it's really important in their lives. Many children don't have free space or free space to make their own games. Also, seek and hide. Many teachers are afraid something could happen in the bushes, or there could be strange people, etc. So, because of afraidness, the environment for children is really small. They cannot play in the water. There's a little risk for that kind of examples. And many children don't have any connection with nature. So we stimulate it inside school as a learning landscape. The schoolyard must become a learning landscape, and the teachers are involved to develop the schoolyard. And after schools must be in the pre-living room of the neighborhood, so everyone must feel safe and home. And we see a lot of nice things happening, from drugs leading boys to families who are using the places. And here you can see some things in the process. Participation is one of the restrictions. And children like it a lot. They understand when they are working on something, you can make plans and there are budgets, and it really happens. It's really exciting for children and parents also. And we also look at outdoor learning, which you can see around you in every age or every teacher will find something in nature to use in the outer classroom. And it's also really nice to work with the children, with the neighborhood, and because of the involving, it's not only because your design will be better. Most of the time it won't, but the most important part is they will be owner of the space, and they will also take care more of the space. So it's much easier to open the gates for the community because it's theirs, and otherwise it's the place of the children, the brothers, sisters. And sometimes you can have some strange new target groups in your Now we also have some challenges. We would like to have some more families with younger children on the playgrounds. So we are looking now for some programming to involve them more on the playgrounds. What we also see is the pressure on the schoolyards is also pretty big. In school time, many times the children will come out while there are lessons, so we have to manage that somehow. Sometimes there's no space. Outdoor education, we are developing the teachers, but also because of the pressure on the outdoor space, sometimes there's no time or space to go outside. So we're also looking at parks like other examples. And we're also working on scaling, but we would also like to have the quality. So we have a group of good landscapers, a group of educators of the teachers. Also, we lead the whole process. Time? Yeah? Okay. Maybe later some questions. I will let you show this one. Can you?
The video?
Then I will quit. Left on.
It's not giving me an option.
Yeah.
I think it's the last slide that was.
The Dutch version. Maybe you. Yeah. Okay. I hope you'll see a short movie.
Yeah. Yes. Well. So one thing I wanted to mention. Thank you, Ian. All of these case studies are housed in schoolgroundgreening.org. You'll be able to see all of them. There are 13 of them. Right now, we're only listing about 3, but. I love that phrase that you say, the green schoolyards. During the school day, it's a green schoolyard. During the afternoon, it's the green living room of the community. I think that's really powerful. I want to introduce our last speaker, Johan Lambrix from Belgium, Limburg, Belgium, and that's where the next ISGA conference 2024 will be. So if you're interested in that. Talking about that. Let me get your PowerPoint up.
So hello. Pressure is on because it's late in the afternoon. Last speaker, second day of the conference, but no worries. I am Johan Lambrix, and I'm a civil servant. Actually, by a local government, and we are responsible for the teams biodiversity and education. Those are 2 very important things to remember on in my presentation. Regarding that education, I have to multitask. It's not easy for me. Yeah. Our main goal is to reconnect children to nature. That's why we're here, I think. But there's a reason we believe when you come in contact to nature, you tend to care more for nature. You learn more about nature. That was too quick.
No, that was me, sorry.
I do. And even at a later age, not only when you're young, but when you're an adult, you remember those experiences, like the exercise Ian did with you. It all went back to nature. And this is a green school ground in my hometown, and they are a very good tool for reconnecting children to nature because they occupy a lot of spaces. There are a lot of schools, there are a lot of square meters or miles. And on the other hand, children are a lot of time at school. So there are two very big opportunities that lies in the green school grounds. And therefore we developed a strategy consisting of two things. One is giving grants, subsidies to every school in our province. And second, we have a team of greening school coaches. And two of my colleagues are here at the conference, and Philip is over there. He does, raise your hand, Philip. That's one of our green school coaches, and he is one of the people who are supporting teachers in the process before they stick the shovel in the ground. So they are very well prepared. They think about vision. They think about what they want to do at the school ground before something happens. So they are very important in the whole process. Next slide. The benefits Brenda also told about. And then again, there are the biodiversity. On top is one of our main focuses. We value all the 5 benefits. And education is also one of our main topics in school greening. And regarding that education, we think there are 2 main ways to do outdoor learning. On the left-hand side for you, you see learning in nature, using nature as a backdrop. It has already a lot of advantages. Children with other needs than sitting in a classroom, they will flourish. But on the other side, on the right-hand side, you see learning with nature. And that opens up the next level of opportunities and possibilities. You use nature to learn. You're looking at a picture with nature materials. Another example in the next slide is a very nice example of a school. Yes, we do have sometimes a dash of snow in Belgium. This is an outdoor classroom, but it's made of the broken up tiles of the old school ground. So they reused them, but they were so smart that it was their idea of this school to put them in 60 spaces. And every quarter they put a step. And then you get a clock. So they can learn time in an outdoor classroom with children standing on 12 and on 4, so it's 4 o'clock, or using branches to make the, yes, what are those things on the clock? I don't know. Yes, that's it. So that's a very nice way of reusing material and bringing in outdoor learning in the curriculum. I was, this morning, I was listening to the young people, and they said, play more, you adults. You have to play more. So, let's play a game. It's an old game, and I don't know if you know it. You get 2 pictures, they are almost the same, but in one picture there are some slight differences, and the game is to spot the differences. In my next slide, wait. I will show you 2 school ground designs. There are 5 differences. The first one who notes them wins a prize. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Come on. Glad that worked, because I was thinking, should I put in a soccer field or an American football field? But it worked, I'm very happy. No, it's just a simple way to put attention to professional designers. Let them help schools to take what they want and that transform into a design. Because then you have, you don't miss out things in a design phase afterwards. And then biodiversity is the second topic I mentioned earlier on. You're looking at a stag beetle on the photo. It's a large beetle in Limburg, and it's also a rare beetle. And in the larger picture, you see a school ground design, and the designer here really integrated the design of the school with the nature in the region of the school. So there is a link between things in nature around school and at school. And they also created with the children a breeding pile. So you can see in the next slide. On the right hand side, it's a pile where that stag beetle can breed. And they build it with the children. And also on the left hand side, it's in Dutch, I'm sorry, there is a leaflet made by the designer with all kinds of information about the stag beetle. So that was a very nice way to look at nature, not only at the school ground, but also in the vicinity of the school ground, and making ecological corridors between school and stepping stones, for instance. Okay, to conclude, I am a little bit naughty and taking the opportunity to make a little bit of promotion for our next conference. Next slide. The Natural Way Forward will be the title of our conference, and it's all about green school grounds. And we are looking forward to the future. We want to be green school grounds a thing for everyone and every place. Wait for it. You can perhaps have one slide. There you have the dates. It's the International School Grounds Alliance, and you are all very, very welcome to Europe, Belgium next year to present, maybe, but certainly to participate. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to all our panelists. I know we're at time and very few minutes left. I just want to make an emphasis. You heard, for those of us working in green schoolyards here in the U.S., you heard maintenance, child-led design, partnerships with Vastí and open access to the parks nearby. So sometimes we think like, oh, it's a different culture, it's a different country, it's not adaptable, or it's not going to work here because it's. So if anything I learned during this process is that the problems and the challenges and the successes and everything, it's very similar. When you start digging and you have these conversations, I've been talking to our 13 case studies for over 2 years, and I've been part of the peer learning network here in the US, and it really is, there are a lot of lessons learned that we can learn from the work that is happening outside of the US for those of us here. Questions, please. The minutes we have left, I want it to be yours, so go ahead.
Is there a chance?
We're recording this.
Thank you for this. It's really good. Is this mostly K-12 education or early childhood? Is there any higher education work going on? Colleges, universities?
Yeah, in our case, yes. We are, for example, we're creating the Global Center for Mothers Teacher in Costa Rica at this point, and we're working with the university, and we're working with the pedagogy faculty. So all the new students, they are incorporating mothers. It's the first university there that's incorporating mothers as a teacher officially. And in the faculty, all the students will learn with his methodology how to learn and be with mothers, with children. So yeah, that's university standpoint.
Also in Belgium, we are working with college, but we notice it's more difficult to include the education. Because you have the separate teachers have their own topics, while in the other school, one teacher has all the topics. And also, a large advantage for younger kids are playthings, and older kids are not interested in sliding down. So you have to imagine what they are interested, and it's more about chilling, hanging, benches, quiet places.
In the Netherlands, it's also a bit new, but we have some examples. And for example, at special needs schools, they have their own vegetables, and for example, when they have some social issues, they make meals for the neighborhood, and so they have social interaction. And sometimes there are some small places, children with difficulties with a lot of information, they can hide and get back and relax, and after that they can come back. So it's a bit different, but also the youngsters ask for more green on their schoolyards. But how to fill in, we are also developing and researching how to do it.
Any other questions? Let's go ahead.
I would love open access at the schools where I'm at. With all your case studies, because I know there's a stigma of vandalism, theft, and stuff like that. And I love the idea that schools are the heart of communities because there's schools in all these neighborhoods, and it could create a space for all these children in those neighborhoods to go. In any of your case studies, have you come across any of that vandalism or any of that destruction or disrespect for that open space that you're offering to the communities? Because I want to bring this to my community and let them know, hey, I know there's case studies and that's not really what's happening.
When you have a good participation, I don't see it. And sometimes there are some youngsters who come on the playgrounds and they are using marijuana, for example. And then you have to make contact and here play children. Can you how do we handle it? And a couple of days later, they tell the parent, principal, we put back, and eventually you can sit here. Or someone of the maintenance also put a afvalbak, a bin, on the schoolyard for them. Okay, you can also use it, but keep it clean when you go away. So get in contact and organize it.
Yeah, in our case, in the children's lands doing at homes and communities, yes, there was a lot of vandalism, and we expected it because we live in that, violent, so people will just take it away or destroy it or whatever. So the kids knew about it. At the beginning, they were like concerned, but we talked about it, and they realized that, yeah, that's how some people react. So we're going to keep going until they don't do it. And so then they learned, that the world doesn't change when you put a plant. The world changes when the guy who was destroying it, they stopped doing that. So for that, you have to put 10 plants. So they know about it. And that's part of the resilience and perseverance of others teaching us.
Posso falar em português? Adnan, por favor. Quando nós conseguimos envolver a comunidade, pais, mães, avós, com as crianças nos projetos, não há destruição. Toda a comunidade se envolve, todo mundo ajuda. Depois que nós começamos a implementar as áreas abertas e a escola com parques naturais, as nossas escolas nunca mais foram invadidas. Acho que essa é um depoimento importante, que a gente precisa insistir e precisa querer muito que aconteça.
The main goal is engage the community with school. When we engage the people, we have a success. And we have done vandalism because we work together. So this is the best one. This engaged parents, community, schools, teachers, and others.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we are at time, and I do want to end the time. We have other sessions coming in. I just want to invite all of you to endorse the Global Action Agenda. It's global. It's a movement, right? Something that was really emphasized when we all met in Salzburg is no one owns this movement. It's not one organization, not one country, not one school district. It's really all of us doing this work together, and we need this to happen. We saw the map, there's still a lot of gaps. This is where the project is going that Cheryl was talking about, the steering committee and the 3 subcommittees where we're working with UNESCO, we're trying to get this message up in COP, we're trying to get to those big organizations so we can continue embedding greening school grounds, right? We talk about green schools, but it's often the conversations about infrastructure. So we want to make sure that when we're talking about greening school grounds, greening schools, we're also talking about the outdoor spaces and the places where children are playing and learning. I invite all of you to be part of this project by endorsing the Global Action Agenda, and that's where we'll be able to capture your emails, your contact information to continue growing the movement. And if you have any more questions, they'll be around for the rest of the conference tonight, tomorrow morning. And yes, thank you so much.